Welcome to another lecture. In this lecture, we look at verb in function, that is section 3 in the course book prescribed for third semester students of English language and literature of the University of Calicut. So in this section, we discuss content in page number 68 and 69 and 70. And we are looking at the concepts gerund, infinitive, and participle. So the title of this section is verb in function, and we have to remember two important concepts, that we have finite verbs and non-finite verbs. So this section is a chapter on non-finite verb forms. The non-finite verb forms are gerund, infinitives, and the participles. Like we have two types of participles, the present participle and the past participle. So let us begin our discussion by distinguishing between the finite verb and non-finite verb. In some of the previous lectures, we studied a finite verb, and we know that a finite verb is agreeing in number and tense with the verb agrees with the subject, finite verb. And we always say we have I like, he likes, I liked, they liked. Okay, so we understand that it is in present tense, it is I like. Similarly, when it is singular in present tense, it is he likes. But in the second person, it is you like. Alright. Or in the past tense, it is you liked. Alright. Alright. So you will understand that there is an agreement between the verb and the subject in, of course, finite verbs. But non-finite verbs, what are non-finite verbs? Non-finite verbs are verbs that are not finite, or rather, non-finite verbs cannot perform action as the root of an independent clause. Just most of the non-finite verbs found in English are infinitives, participles, and gerunds, right? So they do not they don't change their form. They have same form all the time, the gerunds, infinitives, and participles. But in the case of finite verbs, they change their form. Like you say, I like swimming, he likes swimming, Raju liked swimming. Look at that. So like changes its form. Like, likes, liked. But the gerunds, infinitives, and participles, they won't change their form, whatever be their function in different sentences. Now let us look at the text, page number 68. Let us understand the very definition and the functions of each of these non-finite forms. First we have gerund. A gerund is a traditional term used in reference to the ing form of a verb when it has a noun-like function. Example, they are fond of cycling. Writing is my profession. I enjoy teaching English. So in these sentences, cycling, writing, teaching are gerunds. And what are these gerunds? You can say that they are the non-finite forms functioning as nouns. They are fond of something. They are fond of cycling. Writing is my profession. Alright, so we understand that a gerund is a verbal noun. What is a verbal noun? A verbal noun is a verb discharging the function of a noun. And we say gerund is, of course, acting as a noun. So any verb forms, especially the ing form, is the structure of gerund, and it is not a finite verb, it is just a non-finite verb, and it is the verb discharging the duty of a noun. The ing form is a general term for words called either gerund or present participle in traditional approaches to grammar. Gerund participle clause are used as alternative terminology for ing form. Ing clause is also known as verbal noun. That's very important. A verbal noun is a verb used as a noun. And what are the functions of noun? Noun can be the subject, noun can be the object, noun can be sometimes object complement, noun can also be sometimes indirect object. So if any of these functions is discharged by a verbal noun, an ing construction, which is of course non-finite, we can call that a gerund. Say for example, gerund can be the subject of a verb. Walking is a good exercise. Walking is a good exercise. Walking is a gerund. Reading makes you wiser. Reading is a gerund. It is the subject, right? And the gerund can be object of a verb. I like dancing. Dancing is a verbal noun. It is the ing form of dance, and it is used here as, of course, a gerund or a verbal noun. I like ice cream. So like ice cream, here you have I like dancing. Ice cream is a noun. Dancing is also a noun. I like dancing, and we can say that a gerund is a verbal noun discharging the duty of nouns. He dislikes smoking. Smoking is right the ing form of smoke, and it is a verbal noun. It is a gerund. He dislikes smoking. You can say he dislikes maybe a place or a person. He dislikes Gaurav. He dislikes Alex. So Alex is a noun, Gaurav is another noun, proper nouns. So you can say he dislikes smoking. Smoking is verbal noun, right? Now the gerund can be object of a preposition, right? Just like the above examples. Gerund can be the object of a preposition, and that's again like the function of a noun, right? I'm fond of swimming. I'm fond of what? I'm fond of swimming. I'm fond of Gopal. I'm fond of maybe Kashmir, right? If I'm fond of Simla, right? You like something, right? Similarly, you say you like swimming, right? I'm fond of swimming. Swimming is a gerund, right? Now he's afraid of telling the truth. He's afraid of telling, right? The truth. Telling is a gerund. Now the fourth function of gerund is complement of a verb. Her aim is starting a home for orphans. Her aim is starting a home for orphans, right? Look at that. Her aim is something. All right. So her aim is starting a home for orphans. So starting a home for orphans, starting is a gerund. So you can say the function of the gerund is, of course, the complement of a verb. Now we look at the second group of non-finite verbs, that is of course the infinitive. The infinitive is to plus base form of the verb. So you have the base form of the verb, and if the base form of the verb is preceded by a to, it is to infinitive, and to infinitive is another non-finite verb form, and it is to plus verb is an infinitive. To write, to read, to eat are examples of to infinitive. He wanted me to read the letter. Look at that. He wanted me to read the letter. To read is just the same in any construction, in any tense, because it's a non-finite verb, totally free from the subject or the tense. So we say he wanted me to read the letter. It is not easy to write a letter. Sometimes infinitives can be used without to. Without to, you can say bare infinitive. They made him laugh. It is, of course, they made him to laugh, but to is just deleted. It is just dropped, and you say it's a bare infinitive. They made him laugh. So understand what is a bare infinitive. A bare infinitive is an infinitive without to. They let him do that. They let him do that. So it is bare infinitive again. You could say that they let him to do that, but not often you say to do. We just drop the to there. This is again another bare infinitive. They let him do that, right? An infinitive without to is called a bare infinitive. Maybe example point of view, remember this term, bare infinitive. A bare infinitive is used after verbs like make, let, got, heal, help, see, notice, dare, and need. The bare infinitive is used after had better, had rather, would rather, and sooner than. Now let us look at the functions, the duties of the infinitive. The infinitive is used as the subject of a verb. To err is human. To advise is easy. Look at that. To err, to advise. So it is the subject, right? It is discharging the duty of a noun. To err is human. To advise is easy. That is the first function of infinitive. Exam point of view, remember what is a gerund? What are the functions of gerunds? What's an infinitive? What are the functions of infinitive? What's a participle? What are the functions of the present participle? What are the functions of the past participle? Possible questions for examination. Okay, so the second function of the to infinitive, it is used as an object of a verb. I want to win the prize. He loves to listen the music. Third, to infinitive used as a complement of a verb. My aim is to win the gold medal. Our mission is to serve the poor. Fourth function, to infinitive is used as an adverb. Example, the boy ran to meet his father. The boy ran for what? To meet his father. Now, number 5, it is used as an adjective. This is an ideal place to rest. This is an ideal place for what? To rest. Number 6, it is used as an, maybe it is used in to constructions, right? He is too active to sit quiet. He is so active that he doesn't sit quiet at all. It is used in the to construction. Seventh use of the to infinitive, the continuous infinitive is to be plus present participle of the verb. He seems to be enjoying himself. To be, that is again another non-finite verb. He seems to be enjoying himself. The eighth function of to infinitive is it's used after verbs like appear, seem, pretend, hope, and promise. She appears to be listening, to be listening. I happen to be watching the event, to be listening, to be watching. And the last function of the to infinitive, the present infinitive has the form to plus have plus past participle of the verb. He seems to have forgotten about it. He seems to have forgotten about it. To have forgotten about it. Now we have the conversion of infinitive to gerund. Teach me to speak. Teach me speaking. To read is easier than to write. Reading is easier than writing. So this kind of transformations can also come in examination. Students have to be careful about that. Now we move on to the last section or the last category of non-finite verbs, and they are the participles. And we know the participles, there are two types of participles. One is the present participle, that is the ing form, and the next is the past participle, which is the ed form. So you have laughing, reading, writing. So all this is the present participle, and the ed, that is of course smashed, then dropped. Okay, so the past participle form, the ed form. Now let us look at the special aspects of the present participle. The present participle form is verb plus ing, and it is looking like maybe a gerund, even though they look exactly the same like the gerunds. The present participle do different things. The gerund acts as a noun. Example, I like sleeping. Sleeping is not allowed. Present participles, on the other hand, act similarly to an adjective or an adverb. Example, the sleeping girl over there is my sister. Look at that. Sleeping girl. Sleeping is functioning as an adjective. Girl is being modified by sleeping, and it is the use. It is not a gerund. It is just a present participle, right? So you will be you will have to distinguish between present participles and gerund forms. All right. Now the next one, breathing heavily. She finished the race in first place. Breathing heavily. Breathing is a present participle, just modifying heavily. Okay. And it is of course functioning as a modifier to the adverb heavily. So the present participle or participial phrases formed from it are used as follows. Number one, as an adjective phrase modifying a noun phrase. The man sitting over there is my uncle. Sitting over there. Adverbially, the subject being understood to be the same as that of main clause. Looking at the plans, I gradually came to see where the problem lay. He shot the man, killing him. The present participle can also be used with the helping verb to be to form a type of present tense. Sunitha was sleeping, right? So that is of course the main use, like it is used as a main verb to show continuity or progression of an action. Sunitha was sleeping, right? There it is used as a finite verb. It agrees with the subject, and it is also another use of the present participle. Now we come to the past participle. The past participle is the third form of the verb. Like you say finished. All right, that is the past participle, but we know that finish comes from finish, finished, dance, danced, danced, and the third form is the past participle form. Now let us look at the use of the past participles. The past participles is used as an adjective phrase. Say, the chicken eaten by the children was contaminated. The chicken eaten by the children was contaminated. It is an adjectival phrase. Okay, something was contaminated. That is of course the chicken. What's special about the chicken? The chicken eaten by the children was contaminated. So eaten here is functioning as an adjective phrase. Next is the past participle can be used as adverbially. Say, seen from this perspective, the problem presents no easy solution. Okay, so it is all right. Adverbial used. The past participle is used adverbially. Seen from this perspective. Seen from this perspective, right? That is of course the function of an adverb. Number three is it's used in a nominative absolute construction with the subject, with a subject. The task finished, we return home. All right, the task finished. Finished is there, and finished is attached to the subject. The task finished, we return home. So here this construction is known as nominative absolute construction, because this construction, it is just a non-finite structure. The task finished, right? Here it is not a clause. Here it is not a clause. It is not a verb. There is no verb there, but there is no finite verb there. It is just a non-finite verb, and this task finished is considered a single unit, and it is known as an absolute construction. And it would be otherwise when the task was finished, or rather when the task was over, the task was finished, we return home. All right, so when you say that, that would be a separate clause. There would be a finite verb and a subject, and that would be a clause. But here right now you are making it a non-finite verb. The task finished, we return home. So the past participle is used in nominative absolute construction. Now the fourth use of the past participle is it is used with the helping verb to form a type of past tense. The chicken has eaten. This is something we learned about in helping verbs and tense, right? So this is of course, right, look at that. The chicken has eaten. Very easy to understand. Eaten, the past participle form is used with the auxiliary verb has to show the immediate past, and this is of course the present perfect tense. And this is the fourth use of the past participle. Past participle is used in the perfect tenses: present perfect, the past perfect. The chicken has eaten in the past tense can be the chicken had eaten. So these are the four uses of the past participle. All right, now we have some exercises there. Let us do the exercise, page number 70 and 71. 70, identify whether the given sentences are finite or non-finite. So a finite verb agrees with the subject in number and tense. Example number 1, do you have to drive? Do you have to drive? To drive is non-finite. It is a to infinitive. The judge is going to the school. The judge is going to school. Going is the present participle, and it is of course a finite. It agrees with the subject, and it is going along with is. It is plus go. The judge is going to school function, finite verb. Lalita swims every day, finite verb. Lalita swims, right. Wasim is sick, finite. It is Wasim is, right. Agrees with the subject. Sonam wanted to sleep. To sleep is non-finite, and no doubt Sonam wanted to sleep until midday is non-finite. Now we have the second section. Choose the appropriate form from the opposite options in each. My friend really enjoys books. All right, enjoys dash books, right? My friend really enjoys reading books. My friend really enjoys reading books. Next is, I think that dash a third language is advantageous. I think that learning a third language is advantageous. Number 3, Karim usually dash TV after he gets home from school. Karim usually watches TV after he gets home from school. Number 4, Jasna wants dash her friend in Iran next week. Jasna wants to visit her friend in Iran next week. Number 5, I love dash a cup of tea in the evening. I love to drink a cup of tea in the evening. Okay, and now we have another group, section 3. Use the appropriate form of the verb in each context. Did you like dash that night? You seem to be having a good time. Did you like to dance that night? Or did you like dancing that night? You seem to be having a good time. So the right answer could be, did you like dancing that night? You seem to be having a good time. So it was of course a continuous action. So did you like dancing that night? You seem to be having a good time. Do you like to dance? I know a good discotheque. Do you like to dance? Right. Next, Ali hates dash with his wife over every little thing. Ali hates quarreling with his wife over every little thing. Ali hates to quarrel with his wife. It would be the last thing he would want to do. I prefer dash commerce over economics. I preferred studying commerce over economics. I prefer to study economics next year. Alright. I started dash my assignment. Question 10 is especially hard. I started doing my assignment. Question 10 is especially hard. Did you start to do your assignment? Did you continue dash the TV program yesterday after I left? Did you continue watching the TV program yesterday after I left? Will you continue to watch the TV program after I leave? Okay. Last one. He began dash with a hoarse voice that no one could understand. He began speaking with a hoarse voice that no one could understand. He began to speak but was interrupted by the crowd. Okay, so with that we come to the end of section number 3. Next lecture we will move on to mood and modality, that is section number 4. Thanks a lot for listening.